Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Lefebvre and Father's Day is coming up. And I get questions a lot about what kind of cards can we paint for men? And I honestly find that difficult myself.
Cars?
Do you like cars?
I mean, some people do.
You're not helping. See? I don't even think they know. But really, I feel like you could just do something that is of their interest, whether it's golf or fishing. There's tons of little illustrations you can do it here and there. But I decided to do something a little bit more punny. And I also just really like painting mushrooms. So today we're going to be painting this fun, Dad, thanks for being such a fun guy card. I don't know if Matt's gonna like this, but it was fun to create. So let's jump in and get started. Okay, friends, so Father's Day is coming up, and I always get questions about what to do for dads or just men in general for cards. And I will say I struggle with that as well. I feel like flowers are such a universal female thing. And not to say that men don't like flowers. I know they do as well, but you don't typically, draw or paint flowers for a male, Father's Day card or birthday. You can definitely do that. But it's just not as common. So I did ask my husband for some ideas of what he'd want for a Father's Day card. Darling.
Yeah.
I need help.
Okay.
What do men like on cards? Women, I feel like you can not go wrong with flowers. What is the equivalent for men?
A tie?
But do you like ties? I feel like that's just like...
But that's the joke. That's the point.
Would you want a card full of ties?
I mean, that would be funny.
Okay, what else?
Cars?
Do you like cars?
I mean, some people do.
You're not helping.
Like mountains, landscapes? The card doesn't matter. It's the thought.
Okay, so just a bunch of dude stuff.
Just do dude stuff.
All right. And clearly he had some generic ideas, which I might do for another video of like quick ideas. But then I thought, you know what? Let's get all punny with it and let's draw and paint some mushrooms because I don't know about you, my husband is quite the fun guy. Get it? Fun guy. Yep. I don't know. So dads are typically known for their dad jokes, and mushrooms are fun to draw. So I thought we could do, Dad, thank you for being such a fun guy, and then draw some mushrooms, make it fun, just as a little something different from cars and ties and all that other stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing. I have this Etcher Lab cold press watercolor card, which I love using for my watercolor cards. I got them from Etcher. And if you don't have, a watercolor card like this, you could always get your watercolor paper. So it's good quality paper, and then cut it out and just put it on some cardstock. That also works too. I have some watercolors here. These are my Shinhan watercolors. I also have this pan of dried gouache that I might use. I'm not actually sure. And then I have a pencil and my kneaded eraser because I am going to draw out where I'm going to write everything as well as the mushrooms. So I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I think I want to do like a mushroom over here. I kind of want to fill it with fun mushrooms. I know like mushrooms are a lot of fun for people to do, so I thought that would be fun today, and then make it all punny. So you just do this kind of curve shape, and then another little slight curve there. You do the first part of the stem, and it has kind of like, I like to think of it as like a little skirt, and then a little bit thinner and just going down. Then you're going to do the inside here, where you see the inside of the mushroom. Let's do another little one down here. Same kind of deal. I am doing it nice and light, so hopefully you don't see too much of the watercolor or the pencil mark underneath. Then I think I'm gonna do like an oval shape where we're gonna write the caption in it. I want it to be kind of like foresty theme. Also, when I think of like dads, I think of nature. all that. So we're going to kind of make it fun and foresty theme. And then I also want some mushrooms kind of coming out the side here. I'm going to do some taller ones. And the fun thing about mushrooms is that they don't have to be perfect. There's like so many, you know, different shapes, and there's not one way to do it. They can be thin, thick, different colors, really weird looking. And you can just really have fun with your design. There we go. And then I think I might do like leaves or something around the border. Maybe I'll have one more here. Like that and like that. And then maybe we'll just do, or maybe we'll do like a little branch of leaves here. Keep it all foresty themed. Okay. I think that's pretty decent. If you are part of my Patreon, I will provide a tracing page for you for this that you can follow. It's one of the benefits of being a patron of mine. Okay, and then I want to kind of write out our caption. Okay, after lots of trying to figure it out how I wanted to write it, I came up with this. Now, just because I want to have it a little bit cleaner, I'm going to go over the words with my pen. And then I think for the inside of this oval, I'm going to keep it white, and then we're going to just paint the outside of the card. So I'm just going to do this first, just so I can see a little bit more clearly my vision of the words and how they're written. All right, so there's the words, and now we can start with the watercolor. So like I said, I think I'm going to keep the inside of the card, like the oval, white, and then we're going to paint the mushrooms, obviously, and then all the way around. So I love painting mushrooms. They're super fun and fairly easy. I'm going to make this one like a red cap one. So I'm just going to start by doing red all over the top. Oh, that's pink. So red all over the top. And if you have white paint to do the dots after, that will work. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't, you can always do the little spots on it just by going around little circles to preserve the white of the paper. So I'm starting with this red one here. I'm going to make this one a red one too. We're going to do some shading in a second. And you can definitely look up different kinds of mushrooms. Like there's tons of different looking ones. They don't all have to be the same as mine. You can do so many different versions and even different, what's it called? Like just different colors overall. Okay, so I mixed a little bit of green with my red, and I'm just gonna tap it towards the bottom here. So we have a bit of a shadow. Like this. And actually, I'm gonna lift a little bit of a highlight. So I just washed off my brush and dried it. And I'm just gonna lift a little bit of the color here just to get a little highlight at the top. And a little bit more. Like that. For the bottom ones, I was thinking about using my gouache. I don't know if I will. For the bottom one, I'm going to make some of a light brown here. So I have a little bit of burnt sienna and then a little bit of indigo. I'm going to do the tops of these ones, I think. This brown. Grab a little bit more of that color and just kind of tap it into the bottom, just again to give it a little bit of shading, a little bit of shadow there. And then I'm going to just take a little bit more of my indigo, just so it's a little bit more, what's it called? Like grayish, and then really water it down. And we have this like grayish color for the bottom here. Just really watered down burnt sienna and indigo. So the more indigo you use, if you use too much indigo, it's going to be like blue-ish. But if you use like more indigo than, what's it called? Burnt sienna, you're going to get a bit more of a gray color. Like this taupe. Like that. I feel like this one I want to make just slightly brown on top. Or maybe even just like a bit more burnt sienna. Then a little bit more darkness on this side. Like that one's casting a shadow. Okay. Then I'm going to do my leaves over here. So I'm going to grab some of this moss green, keeping all the colors really like neutral, kind of foresty. But again, if you want to do them like bright blues and pinks or orange, like you can totally, depending on the personality of the person you're creating this for, really have it catered to them, right? I'm going to do a little bit of a leaf over here. I'm going to grab a little bit of a darker green. Kind of tap it around the sides. Like that, just blend it out a little bit maybe. Have another leaf over here. Maybe just one poking out. A little bit more of that darker bit, like so. Oh, and I got to do the stems of these ones. So I'm just going to take that light brown color again. Like so. And like so. And then just a little bit more, maybe a slightly darker brown just kind of on the one side and let it bleed a little bit. With these ones, is this dry? Yes. I'm going to add some darker brown at the top here and then under this little skirt part, wash off my brush, dry it a bit, and then just carefully blend out those edges. See that? You can even grab a little bit more if you like and make it a little bit darker. Wash off your brush, dry it, blend it out. Wash off your brush, dry it, blend it out. Like that. So I'm just going to make a little bit darker under here. And you can even use your brush like nice and dry to kind of give a little bit of texture to the mushroom stems, like so. And then if it's all dry inside, you can take that light brown and do the inside in here. Just fill that in and then we'll do the lines after. Maybe a little bit more bluish, so it's a bit more gray. And then make sure those are dry before you do the lines on them, which we will wait. If it is dry, like the tops, especially the red ones, you can take some white ink or white gouache, whatever you have. I have this Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Just gonna wet it up a bit. And I'm gonna do some little dots like this. I might even mix it a little bit with the gray, so the parts that are in the shadows just have a little bit more shadow to it. Like that. You can just do dots on some of these if you like. You can, I don't know, just add a little bit of texture to the bottom if you like. Really, you can do anything you want. Okay, so let's make sure all that's dry before we continue. Okay, now that it's dry, I'm just gonna erase the pencil marks behind the words in here. And then I wanna do, before I do like final details on those, I kind of want to do a background around. So I want to think of a color. I think I want to do like a blue just to make this stand out. I love a good ultramarine. I think I want to use. I'm like unsure. I'm asking myself a question here. I actually might use the gouache for this to make it a little bit more flat. Now, obviously you can do whatever you like. You do not have to go around it. I don't even know if this is going to work out. I don't know if it's going to look good, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I have this designer gouache from Winsor & Newton that I've put in a pan and I've just let dry. Let's hope for the best here. And I've been using gouache like this lately, just dry out of the pan, and then I just reactivate it. I don't know. I like the way, like how easy it is to reactivate. The consistency is a little trickier to get when your gouache has dried, but I don't find too much of an issue with it. I can still get a pretty decent like matte coverage and consistency even with dried gouache that I have reactivated. And that's kind of the thing, like when you're using it out of the tube and it's wet, you tend to get like a creamier consistency, which is really great for coverage, but I haven't noticed too much of an issue just reactivating it from it being dry, which is great. I feel like it's not as opaque, especially some colors. This one has actually been pretty good, the ultramarine, some of the darker colors, but like obviously the lighter colors, even my white gouache doesn't seem to cover as much when it's just been dry in a pan and I try and reactivate it. But I find myself using gouache more now that I have it dried in a pan, because one thing that kind of took away from me using gouache often was, you know, using it out of the tube, getting a palette all ready, making sure I use as much as I put out. And it was just kind of annoying. But since I have done this, I find I use it a lot more. And I just love the matte look and finish that gouache gives you. You can definitely get something similar with watercolor if you use like a very dark value, you know, and make it a lot creamier of a consistency. But I still find that this just dries a little bit more matte and has a really nice quality to it. So I'm going to go around all of these mushrooms as quick as I can, and then we will see what it looks like and see what our next steps are. Okay, so now let's let it dry. Okay, and then I think I want to also add some like grass in here, and I'm going to do it with my gouache because you can do it over top because it's an opaque medium, which I love about it. Just like some little grass blades here. Like that. Maybe get a little bit of a darker green here, or a brighter green. Mix it with a little bit of black, just for bit of a difference in there. I want to do, I'm actually going to grab a little bit of my black here. Just do a little line coming down the middle of these leaves, like that. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow underneath some of these little white dots. Mixed it with a little bit of green to make it a darker red. Just all the little details you want to add. And then gonna grab a little bit of black, and I'm just gonna do some of those little lines inside. Like that. And then there's part of me that kind of wants to add a fine liner. I don't know if I should or not. I don't know. Just gonna add a little bit more shadow and maybe some texture to the mushroom. Should I add fine liner? Part of me wants to, but part of me says no. I think I want to add a gold border though to this oval. This is quite the epic card. Who said Father's Day cards can't be fun? Let that dry. Okay, now that it's dry, it's totally up to you how you want to continue. I think I do want to add some outlines to the illustrations. Now, again, it's up to you. I'm going to use this brush marker from Etcher. And I just like how kind of you can make really thin lines, really thick lines. But again, it's up to you completely of how you want to do this. Have fun with this design and do as much or as little detail as you'd like. So I'm just going to do outlines for everything. Like, it doesn't even have to outline perfectly. Keep it really loose and almost like messy. You can do extra little squiggles and texture and dots and everything with your pen if you like. Do little blades of grass with the black as well. I think it just looks a little bit more bold, but I mean, again, it's up to you. I might regret doing this after. And then I'm just going to take my brush pen again, and I'm just gonna make some of the words a little bit more bold. And there we go. There is our epically punny Father's Day card. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.